Welcome to the Proving Grounds. I'm Andrew, and I've been away for a while. I have not made any content in a minute, but I'm back, and I'm ready to make a whole lot more content. I actually had a whole segment planned to talk about the 2020 election cycle and all the crazy stuff that happened with Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and the election results, obviously with Joe Biden ending up being the president-elect, then the legal battle that was ensued, and all the claims surrounding it about, oh, they stole our election, all that. All the way leading up to the Capitol Hill riots, and all that. But I decided to put that to the side just for a second, because the platform I was actually planning on debuting on today, Parler, is actually looking at being deplatformed at Sunday at 12 a.m., according to Amazon. They have web servers, Parler's hosted on it, and they're being deplatformed. They've already been taken off the Google Play Store, App Store. Apple's threatening to do the same, right? And what happened to cause this? Well, funny story, Donald Trump gets kicked off of Twitter after the Capitol Hill riots, right? He jumps to Parler. A lot of people go with him, and all of a sudden, Parler overnight is suddenly a threat to Facebook, Twitter, and all those tech giants, right? And because they've been mislabeled as a conservative site, immediately they work to destroy them. Now, one of the things I find interesting about this is Amy Peikoff is, I believe, the Chief Operations Officer at Parler. And if you know anything about her, read anything she's written, listen to any interview she's done. I've seen her on the Your Home Brooks show multiple times. I've seen things she's done herself, and nothing about what she talks about, it would be quote-unquote conservatism, right? Nothing to do with the right, nothing to do really with the left. Even, she just is clearly someone who thinks for herself and has set values that she's thought deeply about and actually believes in things like your freedom and individualism and rational thinking. Imagine that. Right? So, I highly doubt she'd work for a company that you could call, evil conservatism. That being said, obviously they are a threat to Facebook and Twitter because, I hate to say it, but Donald Trump alone, he has 75 million people who are just in love with him. That cult of personality that he brings with him, that's a whole lot of potential users for Parler. And I find it highly suspicious that after he makes the leap over there, suddenly Google is gunning for an excuse to pull Parler off its app store. All of a sudden, Amazon employees are freaking out. Now, I don't know why Amazon employees have a right to tell the CEO what they should and shouldn't be doing, what the company as a whole should and shouldn't be doing. I kind of think that's a slippery slope for the CEO to go down. But obviously, they're all in lockstep in views, right? The ideology behind it, obviously, they share, which is scary if you think about it. Because they're saying, we don't like those people, shut them down. Ruin people's lives because we don't like that they want to let their users have freedom of speech. That's right. I don't want them to be able to say something I deem offensive. Get rid of them. The excuse on Google's part, and then it became the excuse partially for Amazon, is that a few people, a few individuals, mind you, who use Parler, said some incendiary things that Google claims is an incitement to violence. Instead of bringing this up to Parler and saying, hey, here's specific things we're seeing that are really bad, incitement to violence is actually a crime in the United States, not covered under the First Amendment. You might want to look into that. To which, representative from Parler could have explained that since they don't surveil every post, every direct message, everything that their users do, they don't mine their data to sell, i.e., they are not turning the user of their platform into a commodity to also be sold. Okay, since they don't do any of that, they wouldn't know necessarily what individual users are doing unless someone were to report them for an infraction of their codes of conduct. Unless obviously some kind of law enforcement branch were to step in and be like, hey, we got someone committing, crimes. Obviously that would be looked into. They said, no, people are saying naughty things on your platform, so you got to go. You're off our Play Store. Apple said the same thing. We might pull you. Amazon says that's it. You're out of there as of Sunday. Now let's stop for a second and say, okay, apply those same standards to Twitter, to Google, right? Facebook. The Ayatollah Khomeini supposedly has a Twitter account. The dictator of North Korea. Multiple dictators all over the country. I believe Louis Farrakhan still has a Twitter. People that say horrible things. People who actually threaten other human beings. People who actually do incitements to violence. Right? They actually try to cause people to go out and commit terrible crimes. They get to keep all that. And Twitter's not accountable. Nope. Not one bit. They won't hold themselves accountable by their own standards. They should take themselves down. Same thing with Google. Why has Google not deplatformed both Facebook or Twitter? And YouTube for that matter. Because you can find anything someone can claim to be incendiary, offensive, some kind of incitement, especially since, incitement to violence, mind you, considering these definitions are constantly being watered down and broadened to the point where you can make a mountain out of any molehill. Right? Why is Google not deplatforming itself? How many hundreds of millions of crimes have been looked up on Google? I mean, how many times have police gone to the scene of a crime? We'll use up murders. Perfect ones. Murders. How many murder scenes have they shown up to, grabbed someone's computer, flipped it open and said, well, Bob, your wife disappeared, but you've looked up 75 different ways on how to murder someone and dispose of a corpse and not get caught. Kind of funny, you have a barrel full of hydrofluoric acid in your basement. What's in there? Right? Oh no, that doesn't count because it's another case of rules for thee and not for me. And it's one thing to say, we are Google, we are Facebook, we are Twitter, we're YouTube, any company really. Parler even. This is our house, our rules. We're the king of our own house, right? Everyone should be the king of their home. Seems fair. We make the rules. You use our platform. You're visiting, essentially. You're a guest. You will follow the rules. They're going beyond that. They're saying, well, I'm going to your house. I'm going to tell you what the rules are going to be. And if I don't like your rules, we're taking your house. And that's what's happening to Parler. That's what I find most egregious. Hey, you don't like Facebook's rules? Delete your account. Guarantee you right now, 20 million people, 50 million people, all these Trump followers especially, you hate Facebook so much, you hate Twitter, all of it. Delete your accounts. 80 million people delete their accounts in a week, a month, 2 months, whatever. They're going to notice. 20% of the people using Facebook in the Northeast, stop using it, delete their accounts, send nasty emails as to why they're deleting their accounts. They're going to take notice. But by and large, what you see is a lot of hemming and hawing, a lot of bitching and moaning, and then nothing. And the excuse is, well, that's how I keep in track and in touch with all these relatives I really couldn't care less about because I would never call these people in a million years. So it's more convenient for me to throw some photos up and show everyone how wonderful my life is without actually having to talk to them to do it. I have values, just no convictions, right? I really don't want to get involved in this. So, since that's not happening, right? These companies do whatever they want.